And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this, before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through.
Dude, you took time to edit this. You not only recorded your own ass voice, you sat there in front of a computer, unless you were paying someone else to do it for you, and f***ing opened Adobe Premiere. But dude, Adobe Premiere and loaded this shit into the timeline without a second of self-reflection to how weird this is and makes you look. It's so bizarre.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast's brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans
This, by the way, could not be a bigger example of how trans people's very existence is political. Just like by virtue of existing. That's the fucked up thing. Because like, if someone in a lot of different fields or categories is like, hey, I'm happier about myself and who I am, universally, normally, the default setting that we all have would be, okay, oh, that's cool, good for you, good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you that you get to just, I mean, I don't see any problems with that. That sounds awesome. What we're doing here. For this, oh my god. Oh my god. Like, I hope they're still available. Let's show you the shorts. Look at the most popular, like, you know, algorithmically driven shorts about this topic that I'm being fed right now. MrBeast, Chris Tyson comes out as trans. MrBeast forced to support Chris Tyson's transition. Pray for Chris Tyson. Oh, look, it's Tim Pool. Hard times, weak man times. Yeah, okay, buddy. MrBeast, Chris Tyson comes out as trans. Sparking just by existing. Why Chris will soon be a nightmare for MrBeast. Beast has likely, and look at that, like, oh my god.
The Chris Tyson situation.
Again, just, oof. Right-wingers lose their minds over this shit.
And traits, making tweets such as, I finally got my nails done at a nail tech. Additionally, Chris would highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I, quote, look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance from—
Can you do 1, 2, 5? I've had to watch this 8 times on 8 different streamers. You didn't wait for me? What? You don't wait, you don't— I haven't seen this yet. You all just— you went off and just because it was the weekend, you know, I was in a charity stream yesterday. What's going on here? Just doesn't seem fair.
Replies such as, you went from man to boy. Chris responded by
yes, we can do that. I don't mind speeding through bigots.
Stating, nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously.
Nice. All right, Joe, you know what? You're true. You're true, you know? You're not a traitor like the rest.
And eating better, yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearance.
I'm sorry, but you are all so weird. Like, it's just, it never stops being weird. It's a fucking movement led by weirdos. It's a fascist weirdo movement. You're all so strange. So transparently strange. Like, it's so bizarre to just constantly becoming more feminine. We have to wonder, the next one, would there be hormones? What of the penis? We must discuss the penis. Is the penis remaining? We need to know about the penis. And you're like, what the fuck? What is going on? You are all so weird. Why? We don't do this. You don't do this for other people. You just, like, it's like, if you did, we should recognize if you did, if there was an entire movement that is trying to effectively pass legislation that was talking primarily and seeming, let's be real, obsessed with penises, obsessed with women's penises, we would take a step back and be like, okay, something's off. Hard to place, really. Hard to see where this is all going, but you really talk about women's penises a lot. More than women who have penises do. That's weird. This is odd. It's really strange to me. It doesn't happen a lot. This is a new phenomenon. It certainly is. Yeah, there was not an entire fucking media empires. Media empires. Can you grasp your minds? Like fucking the largest beer producing company in the world is getting bomb threats. Bomb threats because again, all of you are like, what about the penis? And that's really weird. That's like, I'm just saying, as someone who recognizes this, like, for what it is, it's so strange. Once you get into like a fucking drone POV, hit the skies and look down and see this whole thing, you're like, wow, fucking women cock, that's it? Holy shit, it drove you all insane. Honestly, women's penises, that's all it took. Gramlet lost everything, because he was unable to get on the other side of this. He was unable to be like, so that's weird. You'd Graham, Glinner, baby. You're talking about lady cock a lot. You're thinking about it. Ladies who have penises, you won't shut the fuck up about this. It's not normal. You never used to do this. Like, this is new, okay? I didn't change. You did. you like, okay, do you want some backup on this? Everyone agrees. I don't mean our friends. I mean society. Because you're famous. You're super famous. Yeah, you're super famous. And everyone around you is like, why won't this motherfucker stop talking about women's penises? He won't shut the fuck up. This is not normal. It's like, you're weirdos. You're such fucking weirdos.
For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments
listen to the music.
Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother. Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating, "How did Chris go from this to this?" While others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now, this was pretty ridiculous, as Carl isn't even that feminine.
Who cares? Why?
And Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram.
Are you, what? That's, oh wow. Now I see why this one's burning up. So all of you already pre-watched this. All of you have already seen this. You already know how fucking wild this take is. Is this one like I transitioned to save my marriage? Is that where we're at? What? Yeah, blame the woman. Oh, of course. Of course. Of course. Yeah, of course. A tale as old as time. I like, holy shit. This is the mildest part. I hate when this happens. I hate when I take like a couple days off because I'm sorry. I need to have them weekends sometimes. Oh, hold on. Would recommend watching Ludwig's response to the SunnyV2 bullshit. It's good. Okay. I'll check it out. I take a couple days off, so obviously everyone's all caught up with this, and I'm like, I have to eventually address this video because it's like, it's burning up the internet, right? It would be irresponsible of me not to give a take on the take, you know? I gotta throw my take in the ring. But then, if this is the middest part, wow.
The family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly.
Weird! This is so weird! All of this, god damn! Like, that's why I like, when the idea of what they think the woke mind virus is like this obsession, and like, it's, you could see how like it consumes dudes. My dudes! Oh man, my dudes, I gotta keep saying this. A better life is possible. It is so strange. Do you not see that? If you made a video where you were like it feels like you're stalking right now, right? Did you get that? You know? the way that people stalk women. You're used to that, hearing about, that's where we're getting at. It's getting so bizarre.
With the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this, before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT
so
saved
weird.
my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through."
Dude, you took time to edit this. You not only recorded your own ass voice, you sat there in front of a computer, unless you were paying someone else to do it for you, and fucking opened Adobe Premiere. But dude, Adobe Premiere and loaded this shit into the timeline without a second of self-reflection to how weird this is and makes you look. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, life-saving, gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is
what hormones were they on? According to a quick Google search, turns out this is a feminizing hormone. Like, what? Dude. I hope the fucking smoke that you get from this is sobering. I really do. I hope having all of some of the biggest creators realize, just to, like, on the surface, it's not even like you have to be this like super pro LGBTQ plus streamer or something, just on its surface to recognize that this is brutally strange. Like, honestly, it's savagely strange. It's of the strangest you can do, and you're doing it openly. The kind of stuff that you're like, oh, you couldn't torture that information out of me. Like, oh, I want to put this in a video that hundreds of thousands of people will see.
Told to me, just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies, which received a positive response from both Carl and MrBeast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak.
Why does this keep happening? What the fuck? We're doing this thing. It's strange. It almost, like, if you drew it out, this little thing that we like to say, it almost forms like, what's that thing called? A swastikas cat? I don't know. Either way, this pinwheel type, like, you know, a Buddhist symbol or something like that. Yeah, that's why? There goes a father figure. That is so weird to say. And it's like, this is all so strange.
Men and weak men create hard times. Weak man times. Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker." Chris's response received some positivity such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that. I'm glad you made that decision.
So
it's
happy
so
this is a 125
figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria.
You were right.
It also received
Trust
an
in
equal
chat.
amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school. Won't want to have friends around his house. A life full of
a better life is possible.
Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure?" Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from MrBeast as well as Nolan and Carl.
I know. Zesty. Like, what? This I just, oh man, I wish I had the power to grant you like a spell of some kind, or I could be like, oh, doth you see? This is weird as fuck. Yeah, you are being such a weirdo. Oh my god, yeah. No, you're a weirdo pervert sicko right now. It's just, it's really, really strange, you know? And it's like, it's not normal. It's not like the normal times when people kind of get angry, because then they'll be like, you know, fuck you or shit like that. This one's like, they want to look up what hormones they're putting into their bodies to know what size the cock is going to be. Like, what? Well, this is weird. It's so strange.
However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. MrBeast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life. In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent livestream titled Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes, Chris would once again dress.
Yeah, why would that happen? Why is that a phenomenon that suddenly we are witnessing? Pray tell, this mystery, will it ever be solved?
In quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you! Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind. MrBeast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice
I don't know how you turn self-reflection completely off. You know, I get how you dial it down sometimes. Sometimes we have blinders, all of us. I've had it before where I should have done some more self-reflection. But like, I don't know how you script and then edit and then consciously for profit release a video like this without reflecting upon how does this make me look? How do I come out from this? What are people going to think when they see this? This piece of art I need to put into the world. Yeah.
shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the livestream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Chris
could it, I don't know, I got a theory. I've got a whole bigot theory here. Could it be that a handful of moments from a very long stream were taken, clipped, if you will, clipped out of context, suddenly put onto the internet by a lot of the right, because the right has a target they like to go after, you know, trans people, and then those clips were used and spread far and wide, and then now everyone who is on the far right believes a narrative. It's a new one. It's not what the entirety of the stream was, but that new narrative is that it was strange, awkward, and they forcibly, because of the woke mind virus, had to give each other compliments, because that's how weird it is. It's so strange for you to say something nice about someone else. It's a tell. It's a tell. If someone is saying something nice to a friend of theirs, you can tell right there, like they are being controlled. This is mind manipulation of the highest order, right? Let's put on some scary music.
likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value 100%. To the videos. MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive...
right there. Oh yeah, you just okay. I mean, I guess this is nice. You just revealed your hand, but that's it. Well, could it result in a bunch of trans kids feeling a little safer and better? Who's to say? But one thing is for sure is it's important to me to say how much profit will be lost. Yeah, to how much monies. Will it hurt the monies of the world's richest and most famous YouTuber? Will it hurt? Will the world's most rich and famous YouTuber take a hit? The billionaire YouTuber, the one who's got fucking franchise after franchise after fucking franchise, just dominating the planet. Fucking, this is it. This is as corporate as it gets for an internet celebrity. This is oof. And once the fucking all those languages on YouTube start opening up in different markets, MrBeast is gonna be printing fucking cash. So hey, could be because there's a bunch of transphobic weirdo perverts like yourself who are obsessed, again, with trans people, that there could be a percentage of people who are now turning to this because this is just when it's like, hey, is your life shitty? Yeah, my life's really hard and shitty. Cool. Well, you know what'll make your life less shitty on the internet? What's that? If you just act like a bully towards trans people. Yeah, that's it. Because they're the ones causing your shitty life. It's that. And everyone's like, oh, cool, activate. And then all of a sudden, oh, look, a whole bunch of transphobes are popping off in the MrBeast videos. Ooh, what a surprise. How could this have happened? We have to wonder, is this a sign of things to come?
LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise.
Okay, you know what? There are times when it is clearly a fucking decision being made by a corporation. There's a fucking boardroom of people, there's focus groups, there's testing audiences who decide, hey, what could we do to appeal broadly into the zeitgeist right now? And yes, absolutely, part of that is going to be like, well, yes, we should probably have more pro-LGBTQ. It turns out people don't hate the queers as much anymore. They certain ones, and certain, you know, colors in the rainbow, but, you know, not all of them. So we should probably introduce a little bit of that because it's just as part of culture. They're human, after all. They are part of the human experience. Let's throw them in the movie. And then that alone sets all of you off. That's like, then the right wing is like, activate! No! Dylan Mulvaney appears! What? Dylan Mulvaney? She's here? Ah! Bombs! Like bomb threats into Budweiser factories? Again, that's weird. It's weird that you're calling in bomb threats to Bud Light. That's fucking... You seem to have an obsession, an unhealthy obsession, and a better life is possible. You can let this go. You don't have to hate yourself. It's so weird.
Of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So you're a Keemstar?
The problem is, this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for Mr.
Oh, drama, yeah, it absolutely is a huge driver for growth. I experienced that 100% over the last couple of weeks. That's why I was saying, is this wrestling? Is this wrestling? Because it's just like, if TYT on the other end was just like, oh yeah, this is something we do. Oh, Lance, every now and then, yeah, so we'll just, we'll go after a fake issue, and then, you know, if we get a little bit of pushback, we'll turn that into a much bigger issue, and then it'll become a whole thing, and then everyone will see us, and then as they all see us fighting each other, and they have to comment on it, make multiple videos on it, you'll release a whole bunch of videos on it, we'll all make a ton of money. We'll make more money, we'll get more views, more subscribers. This is the game. I'd be like, oh, interesting. Yeah, this seems a little shady, you know, to do this whole wrestling thing, just for engagement, because again, like, it's kind of just weird to kind of be betrayed by friends. It hurts. It's weird. It's strange. So I don't know if I would do that whole like, it's woof. You didn't even tell me about this too. But that was just going on in the background though, I guess. But it's just, or is it just common knowledge? Does everyone do this with each other? It's just like, hey, you bastard. And you're like, what? It's like, yeah, you're a bastard. Like, okay, yeah, call me a bastard back. Why? It's like, that's the game. Is the game. You call me a bastard back. Well, the views, the clicks. Look at it. What do you get sometimes? 700 viewers? Well, this is going to go over 1,000. Oh, yeah, it's going to be nuts. Call me a bastard right now. Come on. Hit me a little, you know?
MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos.
Yeah, okay, fine. Awesome. Then that's why this is such a good thing that he has done this. It's like, this is an awesome move by MrBeast to stand up for a trans friend, in despite of the fact that, yes, there are going to be a lot of other, mostly weird as fuck, weirdos on the internet who are, yes, doing this backlash. That, yes, I'm not surprised by the backlash. It's very explainable now. Like, a lot of this is very clear.
If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind
Like if your argument is that this is a bad business decision, right? Like this hurts the company, this hurts the bottom line, this really alienating a lot of people. Why do you got to affirm and or accept a trans person? Right? Why can't you be like, you're disgusting, sick, and then turn on one of your friends? I mean, for the company, you know, that would also probably play awesomely too, right? Business decisions, after all, in either direction. Good. If doing this gets a handful of bigots' heads to shake, and then a handful of people on the fence to be like, maybe it is like not an unhealthy or bad thing if people are nice to each other. Maybe that's just not a bad idea. I guess it just seems like when they're nice to each other, everyone's a little happier, a little healthier. It's better if you don't have to hate yourself for how you were born. Yeah, that does feel better. Yeah, okay.
Kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution should things go south might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or
Lance debate arc for 1K Andy status. I did that. I was hitting those numbers when I was doing nonstop debates and drama all the time, and that's what it does. Because every single time you do one of those, you suddenly are in this other community of people who hate you, and then both sides want to see that drama. It's like it's drama farming in a lot of it. You know, you can say that we're trying to get to the issues and the core issues, but it's just egos battling off each other. We're smashing into each other, and then you quickly realize that other egos in the outer circles are also trying to manipulate a lot of that. Like they're also doing their own thing. Of course, everyone's playing the game. It's a whole bunch of game being played in all these corners, and I eventually was like, it's not healthy to do that not on my own terms. Like you gotta, as a content creator, and a lot of people I respect started kind of like getting down. It's like, because I'm not opposed to debates. I'm not opposed to you know, having to defend my positions in a live setting. I do it. It's that you should do it on your own terms. You should not have to do it in the ways in which people are trying to pull your hand. You start getting all these invites to the circuit. I've been invited to the Mind Festival. I was invited like multiple times. One right now that has like all those right-wingers and Destiny, blah, blah, blah. I guess he's the centrist there, or the center-rightist, or whatever you want to call him. But like, they used to do that. You'd get all these emails. And like, I would get emails being like, hey, do you want to like come to this Minds Festival, blah, blah, blah. You could debate a whole bunch of people. And then you're just kind of like, oh, it just all kind of feels like this weird little circuit, you know? This weird, yeah, debate perverts. And I'm not opposed to debate. I just see it for what it is. Like, I just see it for the fact that it's two content creators. This is two entertainers on the internet clashing, and that clash is entertaining because conflict is entertainment. And so it's a form of drama. So when you see it, you're like, whoa, yeah, you bodied him. My community says that you suck. And the other side is, my community says that you suck. And everyone's like, whoa, you got bodied, but you got bodied. You got, like, every like, objectively, and this is not just because I disagree with him more ideologically, Milo got wrecked by Destiny objectively, just objectively. But Milo's community is going off about how like Destiny is the biggest cuck in the world because he's a cuck, and because Milo called him a cuck to his face and called out his wife and called out his bad parenting skills and blah blah. I was like, well, yeah, those are cowards moves. You're doing cowards moves if you're going after people's like, you know, wives, family, being like, oh, what are you adjusted in your sex life? Are you well adjusted? You're lesser than, you know, that entire thing. They loved it. The right loved it. The right are like, it was a big night for Milo. There's like a lot of right-wing fucking clips on Twitter too, where they're just like, fucking Milo bodied him, and the other side being like, oh yeah, no, objectively, you know, Destiny obviously wrecked him. It's just like, it is what it is.
Or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Yeah, so that was just terrible. Someone's like, you have to watch this reaction. I guess we check it.
Text on it too. He's like, hey guys, it's not enough that I put in this scary music about Chris's fucking transition, right? But I need you to fucking know, Jimmy doesn't like it. Be quiet.
You know what? I'm gonna give that more than a 7. That is not a bad Australian accent. I'm gonna say an 8. And I say this as someone who is usually a soft 6 when it comes to Australian accents. I'm like a hard 9.5. I know myself. I'm a hard 9.5 when it comes to some British accents. I can do some British accents. Ooh, yeah, real nice and silky. But goddamn, I dropped to like a 6 or a 5 when it goes to like I dropped to a 1 when it's like Irish, 1 or a 2. You know, where like it's like, Lance, are you doing Irish or Swedish right now? And you're like, hordy turdy tighty toy. It's like, no, Lance, that's not Irish. Nah.
hates it as a matter of fact. Also, one of the other aspects of this is like something that I routinely mention, which is like trans people should be allowed to make cringe jokes.
No,
okay?
I'm
I don't
shy
know why
right
the
now. I
fuck
can't do
everybody
it.
literally
I feel too
jumps on that
exposed.
shit as though this is like
It has
a
to
way
come out
to
naturally.
eviscerate trans people from public consciousness and existence. Anytime, God forbid, a trans person isn't
I
like
dare you to try
objectively
to-
hilarious
I
in
dare
every
you to-
fucking
I
moment. You know
dare
what I
you
mean?
to
It's
try-
crazy.
Scottish
It makes
accent.
no fucking sense. Like
dare-
you,
yeah,
as a
not good.
cishet,
Not
are
good.
so
Maybe a 3.
pathetically unfunny on the timeline regularly, and yet nobody goes, oh yeah, we gotta eradicate the cisheads. Of course it's not gonna happen. That's not how anything works. But the one fucking moment that like a trans person makes a joke and it's like not super well received immediately, it's like, oh dude, look, see, they're awkward. They hate Chris. They don't want to be around him.
Looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind, MrBeast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks.
I think it makes me more frustrated because I know these people personally. Like, I don't know Chris, but I've met Jimmy and I know Carl very well. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I know. I talk to them behind the scenes. I know how they feel about these sorts of things. So it makes me additionally fucking frustrated when I hear some random dipshit all the way from down under making parasocial fucking commentary on things he doesn't understand.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Like, yeah, they got real fucking awkward when Carl came in, gayifying Chris one more time.
Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism.
So weird.
Chris likely believes that
Like,
people will
like you look at this, and you don't think that there's something wrong with this. I'm gonna miss the goat. 28 million views. Dead. Chris sitting closer to Jimmy. 20 million views. Name one in the room. MrBeast confronts Chris after coming out dead. This is literally a problem. Like, a normal human should look at this and go,
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Weird. 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 All of you. Just hypnotized. All of you. All the bigots. All of the weirdos. Just obsessed. Obsessed. Can't stop. Will destroy life for the sweet, sweet, delicious.
holy fuck, people are so insane. So if you're trans and you see this kind of thing and you get scared, remember, people in the real world, when they do see this, they recognize it as unfucking hinged, okay? Normies, like MrBeast himself, saw this wave of
these are
aggro,
normies.
over-the-top, psychotic, anti-trans behavior.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's the thing. And that's the winning ticket. Go nuts, fucking buy every Bud Light can and drive or fucking ride your horse into the sunset, crushing them as you go along. Do whatever the fuck you want to do, okay? Go nuts. You all look like weirdos obsessed, sexually obsessed with trans people. That's what this all comes, like, most people, normal people are like, what? A friend being nice to a friend? Wait, what? Why is there so many of these? Why is there like, why is there like 10 of these? That's weird. It's just the friends being nice to friends. That's a normal thing. It's a good thing. Be nice to your friends. That's why we have friends.
And literally, we're like, I didn't even know what this was like. I didn't even fucking realize. I didn't even realize how fucking bad it got.
Another 100 million views worth of drama.
We should have realized earlier.
Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new.
How much this whole thing was being fueled by fucking repression,
well,
horniness.
Well, not if I
should have been vocal about that earlier.
That's right. Will people fucking let go of Chris transitioning? Not if I've got any fucking power in my bones to make sure that people fucking get mad. Oh no!
Maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition...
Most people don't give a fuck. I'll check out the Ludwig. See, normies, by the way, I don't think of Ludwig as a lefty. Like, obviously Hassan is, but, like, you know, these are people who are usually just fucking mainstream internet famous people, not like, hey, this is my political stance.
In general, for pronouns, you just try your best. You ask if you don't know. If you correct yourself. It doesn't have to be deeper than that.
See, this is where normies are at. Look how far they've come. It's beautiful. You love to see it. You love to see it. Okay, normies are here now. This is where the Overton window has shifted to. This normies are like, oh, by the way, yeah, just don't be a dick. If someone has preferred pronouns, please use their preferred pronouns in the same that you've used preferred pronouns your entire life. So it's the same thing you've always had to do. It's not hard. Use the name and use the pronouns someone is asking for, and then just don't mock them for being that thing that is obviously being repressed in society. Don't mock them for being trans. That in and of itself is a problem. You know, that kind of shit. Like, that's where they are.
Anyway, let's get to the shit video. This is a real clip from the video. I'll play it uninterrupted.
Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the...
Can't believe I'm like just going down this weird rabbit hole of watching reactions of reactions while reacting to the reaction. Like, what? Y'all are so strange. So very strange. You fucking transphobes. The transphobes are so weird.
very first post in which he'd painted his nails.
Yeah, that was a real piece of evidence. He painted, bro. Like, you got to go a little bit deeper than that, right? Like, who hasn't painted their nails at least fucking once? What's wrong with painting your goddamn nails?
Hassan,
all right,
Hassan paints his nails.
Gross ass nails. I don't want them. Anyway, he follows up by reading out this hate comment.
Who
Chris
cares?
went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails.
Which honestly could be a bar in an Eminem diss track.
As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media.
Now, at this point, what do you think SunnyV2 is going to say? All right, Chris is going to
Fellas, is a chance to take off your ring when you're in the ocean. Apparently.
Find what makes him happy.
Apparently.
And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self,
I feel like the implication of that sentence is go back. Actually, don't explore what makes you happy. Don't do what you want to do. Don't be who you are. It's go back to the more masculine you, which I don't know if that's SunnyV2 just being horny for how Chris looked in 2017 or what, but it's fucking weird either way. And then he says this comment.
he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this.
I don't like how he said that. I don't like how he said looking like this, especially when Tariq is in the photo looking like that. Really? You're worried about how Chris looks? Bro, look at Tariq. What are we talking about here? Anyway, I see a lot of like random ass comments that kind of imply that this decision from Chris was made on a dime. And I don't know if you've ever talked to someone who's trans. I have, just being in my stream. It's never a quick decision. It's not like fucking you wake up one day, you're like, tits would be nice. That's not, it's usually a long battle that happens where you are trying to find who you are in this world while also trying to somehow conform to what society says you should be. And we have had, luckily, because we live in a goddamn free country, more freedoms. It was not very long ago, it was in your parents' lifetime, that the phrase pray the gay away was standard, right? And that's the reality of it. So it's...
See, that's so nice to see. It's, you just, like, you love to see it. It honestly, it warms fucking the LGBTQ plus community's heart to see normies getting it. Straight normies getting it? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right.
I think pretty dope that you can actually find who you want to be and that we live in a place where that works. And this was someone else's take on it, which this is just funny.
Carl is tearing the...
It's also just good to see because that means that this is where it is and is going to land to start being socially acceptable, and how weird, strange, like all of this is going to finally be recognized for what it is. Like all these people who have these incredibly bizarre sexual obsessions with trans people and are just like, can't control themselves. Then it's going to be seen. You're going to be like, oh shit, this is a sexual thing. You're all sexually obsessed. Oh god, Jesus, and you're all repressing your own sexual urges.
MrBeast team apart and turning them gay. Carl.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's always some implication that you just hang out with Carl, you get gay. Obviously no. In fact, Chris announced during, like, I think the election a few years ago that he was bi, and he said he came out to people when he was 16 years old. So like totally off base, stupid fucking comments. But SunnyV2 does not end with the stupidity.
You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone.
Now, they're talking about Chris's son, Tucker, and how this is going to affect Tucker's life and going to ruin his life or whatever. And to be clear, for this second comment, he'll get torn apart at school. He won't have any friends around. That is just because you are transphobic. But the kids, the next generation, they're way fucking smarter. They're way more understanding. And they care way more about their fellow human than anybody does in the older generations. So maybe they would if you went to school with Tucker. But luckily, you're an adult, and so you shouldn't be within 100 feet of it. And the kids would be way better positioned. And because of all this backlash, that people are saying somehow he's going to be a worse father because of this, Chris posted a schedule of how he takes care of his kid, which he does not have to do. I feel bad that he felt like he had to do this shit. It's fucking out of pocket.
That's
like,
so weird.
Chris loves his kid.
That had to be done.
This kid is going to live a top 0.001% life.
Like,
right?
you got to,
like
as a public figure, tell a whole bunch of strangers who have weird parasocial relationships with you that, like, I'm still a good father. Here's the schedule. Like, oh my god.
To struggle for anything. Bro, this kid's uncles are MrBeast, Carl Jacobs. Every fucking birthday is gonna be lit. He's gonna have a fucking...
Oh yeah, it's gonna be insane. It's like, you're a bad father, and yes, you say as you can buy them a literal carnival whenever you feel like it. Like, Honestly, and don't get me wrong, what a kid and every child needs is love. If you're a good father, it's not going to be dependent. It'll make life harder. If you're, poor or struggling, it will make life harder. But the most important thing is that you provide and love your children and, protect them and keep them out of harm's way. All very, very important things. Very important things. And also, in addition to, Chris can buy a fucking entire fucking, carnival. Honestly, all the rides, all the animals, a zoo, whatever. Yes, I can buy these things for you.
Garage full of cars by the time he's 16. I don't think people understand. He's going to live one of the greatest lives of all time. If I get to reincarnate, I choose Chris's kid. That is a cushy gig. Let me get Chris's kid as my next life, because that's one of the greatest lives you can get. And clearly Chris...
But that really shows you something, right? Like, under the system, under the old capitalism, they're like, well, yeah, I mean, the kid is going to be completely provided for. So that's not the thing. That's not the problem. It's not that you're going to live in impoverished conditions and neglect your child because of that and have a harder life where the kid could suffer. The problem is the kid grows up with a trans parent. That's the problem. That's not that right there. That's the thing. Whoa, that gets me strangely angry, and I don't know why, but it warrants. He warrants to know the video.
Loves his kid, and that's what you need to be a parent, right? He's crushing it as a parent. So crazy to even include that in the video, which is just mindless hate comments as somehow reasons to maybe not come out that you're taking HRT. I don't know. I don't know what the goal of that was.
Whether it be arrogance,
and this is how the video ends, and I think it's so dog shit,
or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Now, off rip, it's not drama. This is not there was no drama. All right? A person made a choice that HRT would make them happier. That's it. The drama is all you fucks talking about it like it's somehow...
We're gonna win, fam. We're gonna win. The normies are getting there much faster than they ever really considered. I think honestly they never knew or planned for this. They never knew the normies would make it so fast. Because once you do and it clicks, all of a sudden, whoa, oh yeah, that's oof. Something's going on.
The devil. It's not. It doesn't impact anything at all. I don't get it at all. This whole video, I mean, you could have just said, hey, I'm outwardly transphobic and I feel like I don't like when people take HRT, and it would have been more honest.
Yep.
All right? We would have got to the point quicker rather than wasting 9 minutes and 7 seconds.
So true. It would not have been nearly as weird, fucked up, and gross. Where if you were just honest and came out I am obsessed with trans people, and I'm particularly obsessed with Chris, and I'm gonna have to make this video where I really go into whether or not they're a good father to their parents and all this kind of stuff, and talk about that and get very well.
Of listening to it. But I don't know. The whole shit seems wild to me. But let's talk to the person who he's talking about. He said Chris could be a nightmare for MrBeast. What does MrBeast think? This is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare. He's my fucking friend, and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. There it is. All right, from the horse's mouth. We don't need to fucking talk about it anymore.
Have you seen the Little Joel video?
No.
It's
such a big talking point.
I imagine he's on point.
Move on.
He's a MrBeast fan, so that one's an easy one for him.
I don't know. Just move the fuck on. It's not a big deal. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Subscribe. See you later. Goodbye. It would be tight being his kid, though. Fuck, man. God, I wish MrBeast was my uncle.
Aren't you filthy rich? Ludwig, you don't have to say that. You can just go off and do whatever you want.
Clean up your room.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earthhuman, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, TrevBotEXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojak, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.